This is Keys to the Roadmap through Energy Speaks, episode 5, part 2 of New Beginnings. In the previous video, it cut short, so there were some great nuggets of gold in there. I'm just going to keep it, and considering the fact that it's Mercury retrograde, kind of be expected, right? So, I had compassion for the whole situation. There we go. Hello, Pisces. Anyways, so really having our toolbox ready is really important for like prepping and moving forward through this particular time. Now, what energies are we going to be moving through this week? Well, we're in Pisces today at step 4, which means we're taking the we're taking the Pisces energy and we're molding them together with the Aquarius. Okay? So, we're really finding compassion and where we belong, which is interesting because we just came out of that. So whatever we left off with in Aquarius that we just summed up for this next year, also probably this next decade, and we set the tone for it for this entire, Aquarius season. Like, and what I mean by that, Aquarius, like, age. Let me put it that way. So we've really been working on our belonging quite heavily. So today we're going to be seeing those themes. Where do we belong? Where do we belong? And where we're going to find compassion for it. And today is Sunday. So that is ruled by the sun. So shine bright, my friend. Shine bright. And so part of that is you might see some pretty funny things today. Pretty wonky things, I should say. And those things will have, like, one thing I'm noticing is not attaching to time, okay? And that's important because we create these expectations that sometimes are not so realistic, especially in this, for us being so aware, we should know better. So these shifts are coming. We asked for them. Now it's finding compassion with those shifts and holding space for ourselves, of course, but for others during the midst of these shifts. And it's on how we respond. Really, it is. See, the theme of Pisces is that compassion, and I want to put it in this way. When love meets wisdom, we find compassion. What does that mean? Okay, this unconditional love, and it really draws in the ideals of what really Jesus spoke about. Like, I mean, like, dude, like, I'm not a Christian or anything, but what he taught was like a very peaceful nature, and a lot of people got pissed off by how he was so radically peaceful and going and moving things in a new direction that, like, even when those haters came up and was like, dude, no, this is the way things are, and that's what we want. Well, guess what? We're taking that same type of concept and applying it to the age of Aquarius rather than the age of Pisces, okay? Because Jesus was the part of the age of Pisces, which, yep, synchronicity. That's what his message was, okay? Now, like, we look back at that and we're like, wow, this dude had so much flipping compassion because people freaking hated him. And he still walked and talked his message. That's incredible. To stay within yourself and to stay in. I'm actually reading this one book, and this is bringing a lot of like things in. Scream free parenting. But it's so true. Like, you know, a lot of people were screaming at him, and there's so many different ways of screaming, subtle ways, right? But it allows for, you know, you to kind of like wash it off. This right here, Pisces, is us washing it off. We could be on one side of the coin where we lack compassion and find no innerstanding or understanding of anything. Or we can jump on the boat of Pisces and really fine-tune how we speak to others, how we view others, and redirect that right back inward, and how we speak to ourselves and how we respond to ourselves. Like, it's such a beautiful energy, and especially with this like Mercury retrograde, we have an opportunity to really fine-tune this. Now, let's speak about the new moon intentions. Again, with the toolbox, getting organized. Make your intentions for this new moon. So in Judaism, we called this Rosh Chodesh, and it's really associated with the feminine energy because, of course, the moon is about, you know, the feminine energy, right? And so it's the beginning of a new month. So that new beginning is really there. So this new moon is in Pisces because we're in the sun of Pisces. So the moon is naturally, in a new moon, going to be in that sun sign, okay? And with our emotions, we're finding compassion and understanding of our expressions and what we feel inside. So it's going to touch on all of those emotional things. And it's going to create opportunities for us to shift things, to have compassion for ourselves. And that's beautiful. So if you're really in tune with your being, it's not going to matter what someone else says. They may bring up a theme that you may redirect it inward and say, does that resonate? And then you have one of two choices. You can either get pissed off by it if it happens to be something that, you know, activated something within you, or you can say, oh wow, I got to work on that, and you know what, this is that time to do that. Or it may not resonate at all, and you can say, okay, we've learned that lesson, and moving that over here and moving forward. New moons, we get to set these intentions for these new beginnings, and then by the time it comes to that Virgo full moon, we get to reevaluate it and say, how much did we grow? So we got about 2 weeks. Really? So whether you write it out on paper or make mental notes of it, kind of advise you write it out. Since we're in the Mercury retrograde, it'll really, because our brain is doing so much going back and forth right now, it would be really nice to write it down and reflect back on it, because it would, I don't know, it's a little bit easier for our brain. Now, what else do I have to touch on? Oh, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little scope of this week. Like I said, yesterday we just were in step 3. Today we're in step 4 of Pisces, which is the Aquarian. So we're going to go all the way to the Taurus energy. So that means we're going to find compassion in the Gemini energy, which is all about our thinking. Ironic, right? And our communicating. So there you go. That's the test for tomorrow, which is Monday. And that ruler is the moon. So we're also bringing that new moon energy in. And there's that nice little synchronicity there. Then we go on Tuesday, and that's Mars. And we're going to be finding balance. So we got that complementing energy with Venus there, right? Because step 6 is all about finding balance, and that's the Libra energy, which is ruled by Venus. That's kind of fun. So finding compassion within the balance, and of course in our receiving, right? Then we move on to Wednesday, and the leader is, where we at? Mercury, right? Okay. And so 7, we're finding the compassion within within our senses. We're hitting that Pisces energy. We're fine-tuning that all the way. And Mercury's going to be there to really drive it in. And then on Thursday, the leader is Jupiter. Okay, so some magic and miracles. Remember, with Jupiter, whatever you put out is brought to you. So bring the love. And so we go to step 8, which is all about the decisions and commitments. Okay, so we're going to find compassion within these decisions and commitments. Then on Friday, ruled by Venus, so really putting that heart energy out there, we are going to be, oh, that is so beautiful, touching on the Mars energy, which is Aries, and that is our actions. So having compassion within our actions. And that's a nice little complementary energy with the Venus. I love it. It's so beautiful. So we would have made certain commitments and decisions within this compassion zone. And now we're taking action with that. And finding compassion with those actions. Then we move on to Saturday, which completes everything up. And that is ruled by Saturn. Saturday. See, it's funny. They knew what they were doing. And so that we're going to be dealing on the Taurus energy, which is all about manifestation. So finding compassion and also using our senses in for our manifestation. So if you haven't set your intentions for Pisces yet either, this is a good time. You can interweave it in with your new moon intentions. Beautiful. Okay. I feel like I gave you guys a lot of information and a lot of nuggets of gold to process. Probably why there needed to be 2 videos. All right. I hope you have a beautiful week. And I may come back on to do some more, depending on what the energies speak to me. Energy speaks. I love you guys. Divine, beautiful souls. Namaste.